It's all in the past now.
For you! For me, civilian life is nothing. In the field, we had a code of honor. You watch my back, I watch yours. Back here, there's nothing.
You're the last of an elite group. Don't end it like this.
Back there, I can fly a gunship. I can drive a tank. I was in charge of $1 million equipment. Back here, I can't even hold a job. I can die!
Hello, welcome, veterans. Hey, my name is Quentin Lee. I'm a retired Army veteran. And the reason I started this channel was I wanted to focus on the veterans transition. And because what happened is I found out as I transitioned from the Army, I had spent 21 years being a soldier, went in at 17 and learned all the Army, the military jargon, how to be a soldier. And in that process, you transition from a civilian mindset into the mindset of being a military member. And because of that, a lot of soldiers and airmen and Marines and Air Force personnel, when they transition, whether they spent 4 years, 8 years, or 20 plus years like I did, they transition, they have issues transitioning back to the civilian workforce because their mindset has been trained a certain way. Now, the transitioning back issue is not just because they have a military mindset, it's simply because of the fact that they have worked in a way that was structured, and they worked in a way where even in ambiguity, they had a way of dealing with problems, issues, and people. And so when they transition back to the civilian sector, there are usually challenges that face them where their training, their experience is not actually sometimes recognized. And so I wanted to create this channel so that we could, have a platform to discuss the veterans transition and how we deal with transitioning successfully back into civilian life. And so that's the vision for this channel. And so for me, to tell you a little bit about myself, like I said, I went in at 17, spent 21 years. I started off in the Army Reserve as a truck driver, 64 Charlie back then. I think it's 88 Mike now. And we were driving tanks. I was in 217 Trans Company out of San Antonio, Texas. And I remember my father used to drive truck, and so I wanted to drive truck. I wanted to travel and see the world. And at 17, coming out of high school, that wasn't available for me because back then you had to be 25 to get an OTR, which is an over-the-road license. So I joined the military as a 64 Charlie, and the funny thing is, at 17, I was able to drive the big 18-wheelers, the 920s, 915s, driving those, carrying tanks, transport them, that I couldn't do as a civilian. So when I played the clip before about Rambo saying he was in charge of $1 million equipment, but out here it's like you're nothing, it's a reality. In the military, you are given the responsibilities for things that takes years from time to gather in the civilian sector. I had a friend, and I might bring him on to interview him later, who was a retired Air Force guy. And he said that he was out of North Carolina, and when he got out of high school, there were two things he could do. It was either go work at a plant, it was like a furniture plant and another type of plant in his area. And so he chose to go work at this plant, and he said he went there, and this guy was there working, and he said, "Man, I've been looking at you." He said, "You're a hard worker." He said, "Hey, who knows, man, about 15, 20 years, you can do what I'm doing." And the guy was the guy who was driving a forklift. And so he looked at the guy and said, "Man, that's pretty cool." But he said to himself, I can do this." So he joined the Air Force and went and worked I think he worked in the commissary area back then. And he said that the first job they gave him was driving a forklift. So he said he was 15 to 20 years ahead of schedule just by joining the Air Force. So that's one of the things that I think a lot of times in the military, we get a chance to see so many different things, be responsible for so many different things, so many different people as we go through progress through the service, So I'm a retired Army soldier. I'm a former instructor, taught basic electronics. We used to teach from the atom all the way through the power supply. And then I transitioned into become a career counselor after different duty stations, worked in NATO, worked around the world, worked as a career counselor, which is a Sentinel Sierra. I think it's still a Sentinel Sierra in the Army. And as a career counselor, I was in charge of the Army mission, the overall mission of keep retaining soldiers. And so my motto was keeping them in boots. And so I've sat in the seat of trying to overcome objective of soldiers who want to to exit the service to go to start the civilian life, and I had to overcome objections and explain to them the benefits of staying. So I've been in the seat of the soldier who enlisted into the service, had to raise my right hand a few times, and I've been the same in the position of the soldier who has asked soldiers to remain in service, raise the right hand, whether I was getting different duty locations, different stations, or different training, and having a bonus out sometime too. Okay, and then as I transitioned out, I went through the Army ACAS program, and the Army ACAS program is doing a great job of what they know, and usually they know how to structurally get you prepared, whether how to write the resume as they know, and whether how to start focusing on the transition. But I found there were big gaps in that transition process, because what they don't prepare you for, and I'll be honest with you, is it's a stage, they call it the 5 days of grief. They don't prepare you for the fact that you're leaving something that you've known for a while, whether it's 4, 8, 10, 20 years or more. You're leaving something that you've known and grown up in, and it becomes a loss because you're no longer what you were. And so you have to go through that process, and if you don't start that process early, it can be a detriment to your transition, because it used to be when I retired, like I said, I retired in 07, so it's been a few years for me. But before that, when I was in the service, they would have sergeant majors retiring who spent 30 years in, and within 5 years they were dead because their whole mission in life, it seemed like it ended. And so that's not something that a lot of times people are prepared for. And so I want this platform to be a platform where soldiers can come on, airmen, Marines, naval, petty officers or officers that were that have retired or that have transitioned out, and explain their transition and how they what challenges they faced, and how it could benefit others. Because in the military, our goal always is to help one another, because we're one service. We were always taught that we were taught to win in we call it GWAT, the global environment, global warfare, and so we were always taught that no matter what service you were in, we wanted to be successful in what our job was, because failure was not an option. Okay. And so, like I said, I transitioned, and so like I said, it was just a little bit of a challenge, rocky road, learning how to write my resumes correctly, learning what civilians were looking for, and then be able to explain how my military service transitions into the civilian sector. And so learning the right, we call it civilian speak, how to explain something from a perspective that a civilian employer would understand, and give you an opportunity to showcase your talents, your knowledge, skills, and abilities in their organization. Because in the civilian sector, if it doesn't make dollars, it don't make sense. Meaning if it's not helping them to grow and expand and build market share in their company, their organization, hiring you, even though they might say thank you for your service, is just a token phrase. But you have to be able to show what you bring actually to the table to help benefit their organization. And that's a transition that sometimes military members don't get the understanding of properly. So we want to talk about that. Like I said, I was a career counselor, and then as I left the military, I became I was an HR recruiter. I got a position. I was fortunate to get a position with an organization that was looking for someone that had a little bit of recruiting experience, and I had an inner service recruiting experience. I was never an army recruiter, but I recruited the inner service, keeping them in the service. And so I got a chance to do HR recruiting. And I went to for aviation. So I went to school in Cincinnati for that for about a week or so. And I came out #1 in class. But like I said, Army, we're diligent. We're gonna work, we're gonna study, we're gonna make sure that we understand the processes and the procedures. And I came out #1 in class. I did that for a while. And then I got an opportunity to become an HR director for an organization. I worked there 5.5 years. And as an HR director, when I was now hiring and making sure of orientations and all the things that you do to enter into a civilian workforce. And so the one thing I tell people, the difference in the military and human resources in civilian sector is in the civilian sector, we have to deal with work comp, we have to deal with FSLA, Family Leave Separation Act, for the Federal Leave Separation Act, with FMLA, Family Medical Leave Act. We have to deal with the FSLA, the EEOC, all the things that in the military you don't have to deal with. Whereas, because if somebody is injured, they go to sick call, they go to the hospital, they get taken care of. They got to be on leave, they put them on. They get a military leave, right? I forgot the name of it now because I've been out of service so long. Somebody can help me with that in the comments. Let me know what that leave is determined. Okay, but in the civilian sector, you have to deal with all those things, and so it's a little bit of a learning process, but not much because you're still dealing with people. You're still integrating them into your organization. And so as you integrate into your organization, you're still teaching them about the vision, you're giving them the understanding, the policies and procedures, the same thing that you get any leader in the military to do for their soldiers, you know what I'm saying? So it's a little bit of a transition, and I say soldiers a lot because like I said, I'm Army, but it didn't matter if it was airman, a Marine, or a petty officer, you know, any or a seaman, any leader had to transition their individual people. And so that's the same thing you do in the HR position in the civilian sector. So I've been an HR director, HR business partner, and now I'm currently an HR consultant where basically I work for myself, work when organizations need me. I go out, and that's the benefit of being retired, and being retired and having retired benefits, and, you know, being debt free, you know, and so I like that. And so this channel, the goal is to, you know, to discuss with other veterans, their transition experience and what worked and what they found challenging. And also, so I'm going to be doing interviews with other veterans, and I'm going to talk to them and see and ask them questions and have them give their point of view and their transition story. And so hopefully that'll be a benefit for you. And then also I will talk to, second part of the goal is to talk to hiring managers to see what benefit it was for them to hire a service member, and even what challenges they face hiring a service member, so that we can have an open platform, have an open discussion, and discuss the things that work and the things that didn't work. And ultimately, the design of this platform is going to be to basically help veterans succeed in their transition. So that's why we're at Veterans Focus on Veterans Transition, you know, and anybody who has a DD-214, they know that it's sometimes a challenge. And so we want to talk to those who have transitioned, those who are considering transitioning, and those who transition successfully. And like I said, then ultimately we want to talk to hiring managers and what was their view or their benefit of hiring a service member. And so as we do that, we're gonna ask you to come along with us, give us your input, help us to know what we want to do. And then what we want to do is I want to contact you guys. I want you to contact me, and so that we can get to know one another. And if we get to know one another, we can discuss how we can get you on the platform and get you to share your story. Okay, and so right now I'm gonna share with you the email address that you can use to contact me. And here is the email address you can contact me with. And so please contact me, let me know when we can set up a time to meet, and so that we can share your story. And as we share your story, we can grow together. So once again, I'm gonna share this with you to see the challenge.
You're the last in the elite group. Don't end it like this.
Back there, I could fly a gunship. I could drive a tank. I was in charge of $1 million equipment. Back here, I can't even hold a job. I can die.
So please don't forget to like, to share with your other friends who are veterans, or those that are transitioning, and those who are thinking about leaving the service, either through retirement or just through ETS. Just share, and so we can move forward and hopefully be a benefit. This is the goal of this platform, to be a benefit to those who are looking to transition. Once again, my name is Clinton, retired Army career counselor. Spent 21 years, enjoyed it, and now I want to focus things that I understand and know through the transition, and with you, and the things that you know that you've been through with other veterans who will be going through the same process. Look forward to hearing from you. Peace.